I almost got thrown from a building because of your ass. Woo.
When I dropped the hint for this movie in my last recap, I swear I could hear a resounding finally. I know it took a while, but y'all, Universal is a bitch. I vowed not to touch anything NBC Universal has done or acquired because these recaps take a lot of effort, and it's frustrating when you finally upload and you're ready to share your content and it gets blocked. I've been able to upload a few NBC Universal films without issue recently, just had to reverse mirror the film and add a few overlays and filters, and keep these things down to 5 seconds, child. I decided it was time to finally do this film and others that I hadn't been able to. I'm so excited for this recap. The Best Man is another 90s classic that is entertaining and messy AF, and you already know I have my thoughts on this film. A whole lot of them that probably won't fit in this video. But before we get to that, it's time to recap. So let's get into it. The movie starts with us meeting Harper and his girlfriend, Robin. Harper comes home excited to tell Robin that Oprah wants to add his new book to her book club. And is it me, or is this the same apartment they use in all these East Coast-based films? This apartment looks super familiar. But anyway, Harper and Robin attempt to have a romantic night, but Harper keeps bringing up his upcoming book tour, and Robin takes this opportunity to express how she could be with him forever. When she says this, the vibe instantly changes and Harper gets quiet. He eventually admits that he loves her but claims it's not that simple. That one statement made it very clear that he doesn't feel the same way about her that she feels about him. It's a very bad sign. One of many in this film, unfortunately. But the next day, as Robin takes Harper to the airport, Harper tries to apologize, but Robin quickly states that it's okay as she knows that he loves her. I don't know about that, sis, but Robin admits that she's scared to meet his friends, especially Kendall. Now, Kendall is a character from his book, but as we will soon learn, this book is based on true events that took place within his friend group. So Kendall is based on a former love interest, if we can call it that, but Harper tells Robin that she has nothing to worry about and that Kendall is just a character from his book. He even dismissed her feelings and tells her she's being ridiculous. When Harper makes it to New York, he's picked up by his friend Julian. Shortly after they greet each other, Julian brings up how his current boo, Shelby, was portrayed in his book. Now, Harper is shocked that he's already read his book and he asks how he got a copy. Turns out Jordan, another member of their friend group, had his book and was passing it along. Question: why are you writing books about your friend group that you don't want them to read? I don't understand. Julian also mentions how he thinks Jordan inspired the character Kendall from his book. Harper doesn't confirm or deny. We get a backstory on Harper and Jordan. They were college friends, and one night while they were studying for a test, Harper plays music to help them relax and regain focus. It works for a little bit, they have a little fun, and eventually things get a bit flirty. But before they could take it further, the CD they were listening to skipped, and Jordan took it as a sign to stop before they did something they would regret. We fast forward to Julian and Harper arriving at Jordan's job. Jordan sees Harper and immediately excuses herself to get gussied up. As she's doing this, her boss insists that she have a camera at her friend's wedding so they can get an exclusive. Jordan doesn't want to do this but feels pressured, so she agrees. By the time she makes it over to Julian and Harper to finally greet them, her boss has already set up an interview with Harper for his book release. Jordan and Harper's interaction was awkward, and Julian picks up on this. Harper learns that Quentin has his book and he's stressed. And again, I ask, why are you writing a book about your friend group that you don't want them to read? Okay. So we meet Quentin at his gig. Quentin is the creative, go with the flow, directionless friend. He's just vibing through life. When Harper and Quentin get a moment alone, Quentin complains to Harper about how he was portrayed in this book. Harper portrayed him as someone who doesn't take life seriously and doesn't have any goals or desires to grow and make something of himself. The exact opposite of who Quentin considers himself to be. And something I never noticed before was Harper loved being shady to Quentin. He always had something rude to say to him, unprovoked, like all the time. But we finally meet Lance, the reason why everyone gathered in New York. Lance is getting married in a few days, and Lance is a professional football player and very popular. Shortly after, we also meet Shelby, Julian's boo, and nobody likes her. She immediately confronts Harper about how he portrayed her character in his book. Not Harper including people's significant others in his book style, but after she gets them together, she tells Julian she doesn't ask. She demands Julian to take her to Stack's to find something to wear to the wedding. Now, Julian struggles with taking up for himself, and when he tries, Shelby starts her guilt trip.
Oh, I see. It's gang up on Shelby Day. Am I being that unreasonable?
And Julian immediately falls in line, and they leave out. We fast forward to Lance bringing Jordan and Harper back to his place. It's here where we meet Mia, his fiancée, another member of their friend group. Mia mentions the book, and again, Harper asks if she's read it. Mia hasn't, but insists that she's heard good things about it, whatever that means. But Lance appears to be head over heels in love with her. We get a backstory on how they met. Mia once worked with Harper and met Lance when he came by to talk to Harper. Lance immediately fell for her when he realized that Mia was different. She didn't fan out over him. She even criticized him, saying how he looked bigger on TV, and he thought that was the most amazing shit ever and had to have her. Anyway, we go back to present day. Lance and Harper drop Jordan off at home. Harper questions Jordan's interest in the book, and she admits that she wants an exclusive, and since they're asking questions, Jordan asks why he didn't bring his girl, and Harper didn't want to admit the truth. And since Jordan read the book, she has a really good idea why. We go to the guys hanging out and talking mess. The subject of Jordan and Harper come up. The guys encourage Harper to start something up with Jordan, even though he's told them that he has a girl, but they, like him, are not taking his little relationship seriously. Lance brings up Jordan again and complains how she's too independent and that soon she will make more money than Harper. Like, that's the worst thing ever. It's here where we learn more about Lance's mindset. He's your typical misogynist who believes that women should stay at home and cater to their men and kids. Julian tries to challenge his ideas, but nobody listens because he can't even stand up to Shelby. Harper asks Lance what made him want to marry Mia since he's been cheating on her since day one. Lance admits that he loves Mia and wants a long marriage like his parents have. While Lance is turning into a one-woman man, Quentin, on the other hand, doesn't believe in monogamy. Harper calls Quentin a bullshit artist out of the blue. Again, unprovoked. He shouldn't have done that. He doesn't know that he started something with Quentin. But Lance says that Mia is innocent and that he was her first, last, and everything. And everyone around the table gives a subtle side eye to each other because they know something that Lance clearly doesn't. And with Quentin being in a petty mood, he decided to pry.
So you mean tell me, with all the sticking and moving that you've done, you don't think that Mia's ever tippy-toed out the door on you once? Well, if she did, go out and get a little swerve on, don't you think she'd be well within her rights?
Lance sits with this question for about 5 seconds before he jumps up to hem up Quentin. Quentin wasn't fazed, but Harper was now terrified. Wonder why. After this, Harper tries to hunt down his book again and finds that Lance has it and has no plans to return it to him. Again, I ask, why did you write this book about your friend group if you didn't want them to read it? Later, Harper calls Robin to complain about his friends reading his book. While she's glad he's called and looks forward to speaking with him, Harper is just trying to vent. Robin tells him she loves him, and Harper is too preoccupied by that damn book and the surprise appearance of Jordan to even respond back. As they walk together, Jordan brings up Robin. Harper mentions that Robin has been giving him clues that she wants to get married, and of course, Harper isn't interested in doing that. As they do a little shopping, Harper mentions Mia, and the way he talks about her makes it very clear to Jordan that something happened between them, and now she knows which character Mia is in Harper's book and what happened between them. Now, Harper still thinks that this isn't a big deal since Lance wouldn't possibly have the time to read the book. Yeah, that was quickly proven wrong.
They secretly deemed him the Ebony Humper. This joint is hilarious, what?
We go back a few years when Mia found out Lance cheated on her and left him. Listen, Lance was distraught, and he did what cheaters often do when they get caught. Bring God in to save them from situations their free will got them into. He even pulled Harper into it, had him reading scriptures and everything. And Lance swore that if Mia took him back, he'd treat her right from then on. We go back to present day. The guys are hanging out. Lance brings up Harper's infamous kiss on the head. Harper tries to downplay it, but Quentin, being in a petty mood, contributes to the conversation.
Yeah, nigga, you ain't slick. But I feel, because honeys love that sensitive, paternal, tender stuff, man. Mia's the same way. Oh, Mia too, huh?
I love how Quentin is messing with him. Harper tried him too many times. It's on now. We then go to Jordan and Mia hanging out. I didn't mention this before, but Jordan is Mia's maid of honor. But Jordan questions her about what happened between her and Harper. Mia is vague, but she does mention that Harper was a gentleman and what they shared was as sweet and enduring as a forehead kiss. Whatever that means. Now, the whole time she's telling Jordan this, it seems that Jordan may be jealous. We'll see what this leads to in a little bit. But we go back to the guys getting fitted for their tuxedos. Harper and Quentin are talking, and of course, it doesn't take long before Harper starts with him. Again, unprovoked. Harper mentions Quentin's dad preparing him to take over the family business, and Quentin not being interested in doing so. Harper insists that Quentin doesn't want to be a part of the family business because it will be too much like a real job, and that was the last straw for Quentin. Quentin brings up how Harper loves to analyze everyone else's mess, but somehow looks over his own. He starts going off on him so tough that it draws Lance out of his dressing room. When Quentin walks away, he comes over to check on Harper. Harper states how Quentin can be, but Lance states that at least he's being his authentic self, something that Harper hasn't quite got the hang of. Later on, during Lance and Mia's wedding rehearsal, Lance confronts Jordan about wanting to have cameras at his wedding. Jordan insists that there will only be one, but Lance doesn't want any, and he throws out this insult.
One.
Jordan, okay, some things are just sacred. Like between a man and a woman, you wouldn't know nothing about that, now would you?
Lance was an ass. I get that he was setting a boundary, but he didn't have to go that low. Anyway, Jordan pulls Harper to the side to talk to him. Meanwhile, Shelby talks to Julian to see what he's been up to. She starts going in on his tux, questioning the fit of it, and then swiftly changes the subject to a job opportunity that comes up for him. The whole time, Quentin is looking on, quietly judging. He eventually tries to get Julian to stand up for himself for once, which he finally does. Somewhat. We go to Jordan and Harper. Harper scolds Jordan for talking to Mia about what happened in the book. Again, I ask, you know what? Whatever. But Jordan does the most random-ish ever by telling Harper that she wants to have sex with him. Now, she knows that he has a girlfriend, even if he isn't too crazy about it. But still, and I believe a part of her wanted to get the same experience Mia got. Harper is shocked at this proposition, and Jordan gives him some time to think about it. We fast forward to Lance and Mia's pre-wedding dinner. Lance and Mia thank Harper for being their friend and counselor. It's only with this special thanks that a crazy thought enters Lance's mind. Later on, he chats with Harper in the men's room about what he's realized since reading the book. Lance feels he owes Harper a lot for all he's done for him and Mia. He even promises to be faithful to her. I think that's something that should have been happening from the start, or at least after you make that promise to God, but hey, that's me. But Harper admits that he feels unsure about Robin. He knows she's a great woman, but doesn't believe he can commit to her. Lance suggests that he commit to her like he committed to his book, but Harper wasn't trying to hear that. Lance mentions how Mia has forgiven all of his transgressions, and if she had done something, he would have no choice but to forgive hers. That night was the night of the bachelor party, so Jordan tries to convince Harper one more time to take her up on her offer. Then, of course, Shelby decides to show her ass to keep Julian home with her instead of going to his friend's bachelor party. Why, of all nights, was she insisting he hang with her? Child, Shelby was a lot.
Go.
All right, fine. See you in the morning.
The guys make it to the spot where the bachelor party was. As Lance gets settled in, he and Harper talk for a bit. When Lance goes to join the party, Harper hangs back to retrieve the book. But as he tries to sneak and hide the book, Quentin comes in and silently judges him. Of course, this will blow up in his face later. But before that happens, the dancers arrive and the guys could not wait to see some bitties and titties, child. Lance sends some girls over to distract Harper, and he happens to see his copy of the book in his jacket. Now he's suspicious about what he's hiding in this book. Then we meet the main attraction of the night, Candy. And let's just say that Julian was in love.
Do you love me?
Oh, yeah, Daddy. Candy loves you.
Quentin was cheesing his ass off. This scene was so funny to me. Later, Lance walks off to be alone and he reads a little more of the book. After that dance, Julian was trying to get to know Candy better. Candy made it clear that she provided fantasies and that she does not mix business with pleasure. Julian feels a bit foolish after this, but he does leave her with a quote that she recognizes. This sparks something between them. Meanwhile, Harper checks in with Jordan to make sure she's getting ready for him. As this is happening, Lance is getting to the juicy part of Harper's book. Mia and Harper's characters in the book are hanging out. Mia has grown tired of Lance's cheating and decides it's time for a little get back. So she decides to try something with Harper. It starts with a kiss on the forehead from Harper, then a hug from Mia, and then a shared kiss between them. Now, in the book, Harper's character stops himself from going any further with Mia and stayed loyal to his friendship with Lance. However, we see the true events on the screen as Harper and Mia, well, you know.
Yeah.
As Harper prepared to leave and go over to Jordan's, he got the surprise of his life.
You fucked me up.
Oh, shit. Yo.
Lance immediately starts kicking ass, and Quentin kindly gave him a moment to do so since Harper had been working his nerves for a minute, but he eventually saved him from becoming a memory. He convinces Lance to let him go and focus on his upcoming wedding to Mia. Though he eventually lets Harper go, Lance makes it clear that he is not over this, and he lets everyone know that the wedding is canceled and tells them to get gone. At this point, Harper and Lance's friendship is over. Harper finally makes it to Jordan's place, looking toe up and immediately killing the vibe. Jordan assumed that Lance finally figured things out. Tell me why Harper, instead of taking responsibility for his actions, blamed Jordan for passing around his book before the wedding as the reason why this all happened. And let's just say this didn't go over well.
I almost got thrown from a fucking building because of your ass.
This was a real slap, by the way, and Tay was really pissed about it. Jordan forced him to take accountability and promptly went to bed. The next morning, Robin arrived. Poor girl didn't realize she arrived at some mess. Now he wants to be all affectionate towards her. Child. But Harper confesses that he almost slept with Jordan, and he also told her about Lance and Mia. Robin realizes where she stands in his life. I mean, It only took about 50 red flags, but she warns him that the wedding is due to start soon and that he should focus on fixing things with Lance because she's about to fly right back home. And it was at this moment that Harper realized that he needed her and didn't want her to leave. Robin stays, not for him, but to find out who's been keeping him away from her all this time. We go to Julian and Quentin arriving at the church while with Shelby on the steps, waiting for him. Before he can tell her anything, Shelby starts going on about how she forgives him and how she knew he wanted to be with her last night and knew it ate him up inside. Like I said before, Shelby is a lot. Well, she wasn't expecting Julian to invite his new boo to the wedding. Julian didn't even hide it either. He tells Shelby that it's over and he wishes her well, and Quentin stayed behind to help her pick her jaw up off the floor. Shortly after, Harper and Robin pull up to the church. Harper asks about Lance, but Quentin and Julian don't know where he is. Soon after, Lance pulls up in the same clothes he wore last night. He planned to tell his parents the news in person and was really determined to do so, even walked in the church dragging Quentin and Julian down the aisle. Harper had to get creative and asked Lance to pray with him, and surprisingly, Lance agreed to. Meanwhile, Robin checks up on Mia and offers her some words of encouragement since she is experiencing pre-wedding jitters. Jordan comes in moments later to confess how her impulsiveness and determination for an exclusive sparked all this mess, but before she could, Robin interrupts with an excuse for the delay, which eases Mia's jitters. We go back to Lance and Harper. Harper reminds Lance that he said if he found out Mia stepped out, he would forgive her, just like she'd forgiven him. Lance didn't take too kindly to their reminder, even has another tantrum. Harper tells Lance that Mia was made for him and that he should trust in their relationship. Lance agrees to forgive Harper, but tells Harper that he should acknowledge God more often so he can work through his own issues. Lance forces Harper to pray with him, and the wedding is back on. As the wedding is happening and Lance and Mia say their vows to one another, Lance starts replaying scenes from the book. Forgiving may be easy, but those flashbacks, the flashbacks will live on, my boy. Lance can't do anything but take it because he cheated on her 1,000,000 times, and all it took for her to get him was to do it once, and with his best friend. He struggles to say his vows, fighting back those flashbacks the entire time, but he finishes and they are announced husband and wife. After the wedding, Harper gives his best man speech, and this smooths things over between him and Lance. Things get interesting at the reception though. Tell me why Quentin caught the garter and Shelby caught the bouquet. And this flirty moment sparks something between the two. Jordan asks Harper to dance and Robin watches this happen. Jordan mentions that she saw Harper reaching for the garter and she tells Harper that he should take Robin seriously because she's the one for him. Harper goes on to propose to Robin at the reception and she accepts. That's so tacky to me. You could have waited till later to do that. But this is pretty much the end of the movie. We get a classic line dance. It ain't a black film without a line dance scene, child. Oh, and one more thing. Shelby and Quentin.
Yeah.
Of course they did. But here are my final thoughts. Let me be honest with you guys, and don't you dare judge me. I always thought what Harper put in the book about his night with Mia was the truth. You know, them not doing anything but holding each other and sharing a kiss. And Lance was just envisioning the worst case scenario because he cheated so many times. It wasn't until I did a little research about the movie's plot that I learned he actually did sleep with Mia. Like he actually slept with that girl and wrote a damn book about it that he didn't want anyone to read. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on that part. Harper got on my nerves this whole movie. I hated how he treated Robin, and I hated how she made excuses for him and ignored the clear signs that he just wasn't that into her. They should have never made it past the first movie. I also hated how he guilt-tripped everyone about that damn book, when he was the one who wrote it about the people he was close to, even involving Shelby. I also hated how he took every opportunity to criticize Quentin. Quentin could literally breathe, and Harper would remind him, "You know you ain't shit, right?" Every single time. Harper was intimidated by Quentin. Quentin was himself, was doing his own thing, not worried about how he was perceived or being someone he wasn't. Everything that Harper was struggling with. He picked with him so much that eventually Quentin decided to be petty and started to push back. I bet he loved seeing Lance find out the truth. I would have gloated for a couple of seconds too, because why did you continue to try that man knowing he knew all your tea? I wish Robin didn't accept his marriage proposal in the end. It took for you to get called out by Lance and get your body and feelings hurt for you to realize Robin was the one. He didn't like that woman, let alone love her. He was just about to freak another woman the night before. Like, come on now. And let's talk about Lance. Lance had been cheating on Mia from day one. Even though he considered Mia to be this innocent, special woman, he still didn't respect her enough to stay faithful. She still had to deal with his mess. Lance didn't respect women at all, it seems. And this was proven with how he talked about Jordan, saying she was too independent and bringing up how she didn't have a man. He believed that women should be in the house, raising kids, and focused on their man and family, and not seeking individual growth or fulfillment. I loved how Lance cheated with so many women, but all Mia had to do was cheat once, and with his best friend. She tested the faith he loved to talk about. But I won't say too much in these final thoughts because we going live, cousins. I will be teaming up with Tiffany again to talk about this movie. Please check out her commentary on this film on her channel, linked below, and watch our live to see us discuss this movie in depth. Anyway, that's it for this review. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. There won't be another recap after the live, but as always, I won't be gone for long. Y'all already know the drill. See you later, you guys. Bye.